Ms. Fleck.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me testify, and thank you for the bill. My name is Jennifer Fleck. I'm an attorney here in Texas. I am, a parent activist and help other parents in their grievance procedures before school boards. I helped a lady in Northeast ISD who received a letter from the district when they found out that she was giving a speech or a presentation at a church, and they sent her a certified letter asking her not to speak, and not to speak against the district, and not to speak against the program that they had chosen for sex ed. We went through about a 6-month process that was about 4 meetings that concluded with the Board of Trustees and their attorney, and they disagreed with our position. And the law right now doesn't afford a parent recourse, doesn't afford a parent any third party to intervene in that situation. We've been asking for several sessions, so this is exciting for us, and we're hoping the language in which it says that the office shall investigate allegations of violations of other law and receive and investigate complaints from any source on its own initiative. We're hoping that covers parents, and we're hoping that we can then, if we know, we have proof, we have evidence, we have documents that school districts are violating the law and violating Texas Education Code 28.004, that we have somewhere to take it to. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
If I could go fast. And I really appreciate both testimony, the last point especially, because several of the, and Senator Luciano knows where I'm going with this, so does Chairman Taylor. We went to the Valley, and we saw some evidence of child abuse on special needs kids that was horrifying. Handcuffs, bruises, you name it, we saw it in the Valley. And that really galvanized us into, at least another bill, into cameras and special education rooms, but we're really conscious of this, that right now there's no place to go if there's a problem. And that's what we want this, the 933 to help with. Because you have to have that ability to go investigate this, because it was just sickening what we saw down there. So this has been this committee under Chairman Taylor. Just for the audience, we've made the road shows and talked about the issues that people don't want to talk about. Don't want to talk about inappropriate student-teacher relationship. Don't want to talk about abuse of special needs kids. We've seen it all, and that's why we're trying to pass these bills now. So I really appreciate your testimony,
Chairman. If I could just add, your testimony is paramount. I mean, without you here, obviously it wouldn't be complete. So
thank you.
We thank you for that.
And I hope this law also gives teachers an avenue to maybe make anonymous reports, or however that looks. So, because they're in the building, and I've heard many teachers tell me things that are happening, and they don't have the courage, or they don't want to lose their job, and so they're not able to report. So if that helps them,
I don't normally try to single out state employees because I'm not trying to say everybody does a better job than somebody else. But that man, Chris, over there is tenacious on this, okay? And if somebody gives him a complaint, he'll find the truth. And that's what we need. And that's why we need the Senate Bill 933. Thank you.
yes, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, panel. Senator, I'm sorry, what panel? What panel? I'm sorry. Don't leave us yet. Senator Hall had a question.
I want to make sure excuse me, I heard you right. We had a school district send a parent a letter telling that parent what they could say outside of the school district, a government body.
Yes, Senator. And
wait a minute, and the parent had to hire an attorney
to represent her in the grievance process. They specifically said that they would use all means possible to defend the unfounded claims, and vigorously against, they would defend themselves vigorously against any claim that she made outside of the school, at a church.
Okay, was this, she was in a grievance process?
No, not yet. No, this letter prompted the grievance process.
They prompted the grievance over something she was going to say.
At an invite only, at a open invitation meeting at a church in her community.
So maybe we should require some of our school districts to take a course in civics and where they're required to read the First Amendment.
Yes.
That's almost as mind-boggling as what we heard in another committee hearing on the material that some of these schools have forced into our schools on sex education. That's more advocacy than education. So,
correct.
But anyway, thank you.
Thank you
for being here.
I appreciate it.
Sorry about that, Senator Hall. I distracted.
I'm just chopping with it.
Senator Paxton.
I have 2 daughters that are going into education, and I know that one of the things that I've heard from them are stories from other students who are student teaching, who see things in the classroom that concern them, and they aren't really sure where to go with it. And so I think, do you think something like this would provide an avenue for that kind of a situation?
I do. I hope so. I mean, based on the language that I read originally out of Senator Betancourt's bill, I'm hoping that it gives parents, teachers, anybody who has insight to what's happening in the classroom, the ability to report to a third-party agency.
And if I may,
Yes.
also,
Please introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, Christine Brogel with Texans for Special Education Reform. That also emphasizes the need to make sure that the hiring and firing is outside of the scope of TEA, and particularly the Commissioner of Education, because that is going to affect any member's ability to feel free to speak and give their testimony, because there's always a fear of retribution, especially if you have a child attending public schools. I can't tell you how many parents we advocate for who say, I'm afraid that they're going to take it out on my child if I complain. And so that is why it is so necessary that it be placed outside of TEA.
That's a good point. And Senator Betancourt, I think that objective third party is critical in situations where people, for whatever reason, have a fear of reporting. And that could be a school district employee, but it could also be a student teacher or someone like that just they fear retribution or a consequence for reporting. So I think it's a great idea.
Well, and sadly, it happens. Okay, and I have firsthand knowledge of it. So that's a problem with any situation where people are reporting against an institution, and it's sad and it shouldn't, but that's why we have these bills, because it's just important that. Like in the prior bills, that any type of behavior that is in some cases abhorrent, like it was with what we saw in the special needs, just abhorrent behavior, what we saw down in that education hearing in the Valley. It just has to be outed, and sunshine is the only way to fix it. So that's what these bills are designed to do. But I appreciate your comment, Senator.
Thank you again, Pam.
Thank you.
Thank you.